And today we didn't score a lot. It didn't look as pretty, but at the end of the day, we got to win.
But we had our chances down the stretch. It was a possession-by-possession game. Both teams battling. So that's a good old-fashioned playoff game right there.
With that, we say good morning to Sarah. Sarah, how should the Nets feel after losing Game 3 to the Bucks?
Good morning, Jenna. Good morning to all you. Great to be here. I think confident, measured, maybe a little bit refocused. I don't think that they thought this series would be one that they would just walk right through. So I think there is a level of embracing this type of small adversity. And when you look at the fact that at the start of the series, especially considering the way Milwaukee looked in that first round, to think about the fact if you were without James Harden and without Jeff Green for the first 3 games of this series, and you tell the Nets are up 2-1, I believe they would take it. You got 2 of the top scoring teams in the league. I am not sure that Brooklyn will ever shoot that poorly again. And I think a lot of it came down, sometimes it's about the shot profile, right? So is it more on what the defense is doing, or is it simply missing shots? And the fact that between Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, they go 20 of 50 from the field, and a lot of those were clean looks. Joe Harris, 1 of 11. There are a variety of aspects that I think give you confidence if you are the Brooklyn team, on top of the fact that Milwaukee, they were going to come out ready and loaded for bear. They're back home. They were spotted themselves a 21-point lead. So to think about the fact that it came down to the final possessions, there is a lot that you look at in more than anything when it came to defensively what they were doing. The shot selection, again, of Giannis for Milwaukee, our biggest questions have been what type of adjustments will they make? What will Mike Budenholzer do to put his guys in the best position possible? And when you come away with a win, we heard Giannis talking, there's always that question, do they figure something out? Oh, we figured something out about this Nets team. And I am not sure there's anything you take away from that game in particular, if you're Milwaukee, that makes you feel like we figured something out about this Nets team. So for me, more of it is, how is Milwaukee feeling? And did they raise their level of confidence, or are they relieved that they were able to walk away with a win in that fashion when they were back at home?
Look, the Nets are clearly the better team. And you said something interesting. You said coming into this series, the Nets didn't think that it would be easy. They knew it would be a dogfight. But they moved the bar. The standard is higher now. After games 1 and 2, blowing this team out by 30 points, being up by 30 at half, you moved the bar. So for them to come out flat, I get it, but they should feel deflated. They should feel, disappointed. They had an opportunity to really just totally dominate and own this team. Going up 3-0 against this team, a team that you thought, would give you problems. That's right. Like, you missed it. KD, at one point in the game, KD was like 4 for 17 or something like that. You had Joe Harris 1 for 11. Come on, Joe. Help a brother out, Joe. You got Kyrie Irving. It was just like those guys was going through the motions. And then down the stretch, you had Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown did a phenomenal job all year in moments. He did a phenomenal job in moments in the game last night. We're just making some big plays. But down the stretch where it really counts, you had one guy step up and take his game to a whole nother level after struggling mightily in the first half, and that was KD. But this little baby floater, I was tired of seeing that baby floater in the third quarter, Nick, and in the fourth quarter. Like, it wasn't working. And then to end the game, and you got 11 seconds to go, you throw a terrible inbounds pass, and now Bruce has it with 8 seconds left, and you don't force it to KD or Kyrie. That's a huge problem. They should feel defeated. They should feel deflated. This was not a great look for the Nets.
Well, emotionally, after they played so poorly in the first quarter, to storm back, to take the lead, for KD to score those 7 straight fourth quarter points, it looks like the Nets are going to steal a win and the series is going to be over. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh man, if Milwaukee wins game 4 and Vegas has it essentially as a pick-em, now we're in a best of 3. And I'm not as close to the team as Sarah is, obviously. I'm not there for practices, and I don't get to talk to the coaches and the GM. But I would imagine when they built the greatest collection, arguably, of offensive talent in league history. The plan wasn't. And in the biggest game of our year so far, the two biggest shots will be taken by Bruce Brown. Maybe I'm wrong. Steve Nash has done some interesting things this year, but I don't think that's quite how he drew it up. Part of that is because KD is just inexplicably, after being the best guy on the court in the second half last night, just standing outside of the play. He doesn't have to take the shot, but he should be in the action. It's felt like that play, there was 3 seconds, not 11 seconds. They had plenty of time. But I want to talk about the other star because, Sarah, I want your take on this, not only because you're close to the team, but because you played ball at a very high level. I think they might be asking a little too much from Kyrie. I understand Harden is out. But if you remove the fourth quarter of Game 2, where no starters played because it was a blowout, there have been 132 minutes played in this series. Kyrie has been on the court for 121 of them. Nash is not giving him any rest at all, I think out of necessity. But what that is depriving Kyrie of is his legs late. And Kyrie's one of the best fourth quarter guys we've had in this league. When you're watching the games, are you seeing what I'm seeing, that it looks like late in these games Kyrie is exhausted? He's got Drew Holiday on him, who is maybe the best point guard defender in basketball, and he's playing 11 minutes a quarter, and it just feels to me like Kyrie at the end of these games is just spent.
I would disagree with that in the sense that this is a time you are playing your best guys the biggest minutes. Of all people, Kyrie, I think, understands his feel, his body, and how much effort he could exert. And he's doing it on both ends of the floor. This, I think, is a one-game isolated scenario that he was missing shots in the fourth quarter. However, no, like, that's what you want. I think we get on coaches at this time of the season, Mike Budenholzer being one of those, who are not playing their stars enough minutes. And in many senses, this is a steady build of what you're doing for the big picture of what this team is trying to accomplish in the postseason. So similarly to how you cannot overreact to those first two games, I think it's the same instance here. And I think if Kyrie Irving wasn't playing as much or not playing those minutes, we would be wondering why Steve Nash isn't better utilizing the guys that should be on the floor for the maximum amount of time. Because that's what you see in the playoffs. Shortened rotations, heavy minutes for your stars. I would attribute that to a off night, really top to bottom for this Nets team, but Kyrie at moments.
All right, can I put up a graphic, Katana, and show Sarah why I think the Bucks should feel very, very confident? Sarah, the Bucks are a good three-point shooting team, and they have been terrible for 3 games. So there's 2 theories coming out of this. Look, they would have won game 1 if they shot their normal percentage, and last night would have been a blowout. So there's 2 theories, Sarah. One is that the Nets are playing great defense, and this trend will continue, and they'll shut down the Bucks three-point shooting team. The other theory, which I subscribe to, spoiler alert, is that these are going to start going in. Maybe not Giannis's. That one wasn't great. You got to call security to get the ball out of the rim. But I think these are going to start to go in. I think Middleton's shots are going to go in. Drew Holiday's shots are going to go in. PJ Tucker's corner threes, he should get some more of them, and they're going to start to go in. To the point that, unlike Nick, who has a bottomless well of gambling money that he has earned and can buy tickets to every game, I cannot. I can buy a ticket to 1 game. I don't know if the series is going to go 7. I'm like, maybe I should buy a ticket to game 5, because I could see the home team has never lost a game. I could see them winning next game, and I could see them stealing a game in Brooklyn, because eventually, once those shots are going to go in, that's the way you beat the Nets. Like, holy cow. All of a sudden, these shots are going in. Instead of shooting 20%, they shot 50% from 3, and Brooklyn lost. So I guess my question to you is this. Do you think the Nets are playing such great defense that the Bucks will keep on shooting poorly, or is it just random luck and these are going to start raining in?
Kevin, I think it's a little bit of both. However, I felt that way after game 1. When you looked at the way things laid out after game 1, in my head, I'm like, man, Milwaukee has got to start shooting better from 3. I assumed they were going to get to